Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily and Gareth.
Saturday morning!
It doesn't get any better than that. And here we are on Absolute, the home of the Easter no repeat guarantee, which is the same as our normal no repeat guarantee, except it's made of chocolate. It's a good job Jesus Christ didn't have an Easter no repeat guarantee, or there would have been no resurrection, and we'd all have to work on Monday.
None of these songs will rise again.
Yes.
Over these 3 days.
It's a pity, because I know the other DJs who were absolutely desperate to play Nothing by the Egg, and I've beaten them to it. Oh, I nearly said the yolks on them, thank God.
Oh, I'm so glad you didn't.
God, I held back from that. I mean, people switched off immediately. You've got to have standards in this business. I know he doesn't, but... OK, so... This is... I keep introducing myself like some strange robot who's gone, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. It's just like, yes! People at home going, yes! We've worked that out! Say something funny! I hate it when people say that. So we were in... we went off to Blackpool last week. Those of you who listen to the show regularly, I think there are, what, is it 7? Did we work out?
Yeah, about that.
They, I've got an Easter bonnet, by the way. Easter bunny. Listen,
I've got
Listen. All together now.
Oh, I've taken mine off and I'm wearing it as a bracelet.
Oh, OK. Daisy, who is the... who is she again? The associate...
producer.
Assistant. I don't know if it's assistant or associate producer. Bought us all a chocolate rabbit.
Isn't that nice?
Does this bell mean it's got leprosy?
Yes.
Is that what the bell's for?
No, I don't think it's got
God.
leprosy. I think it's collecting plague victims.
This is a lovely Easter message.
So if you can imagine the Easter bunny
God.
going, bring out your dead!
Anyway,
Yeah, we were
from
in,
Plague to Blackpool.
yeah, a novel by Beryl Beveridge. Yeah, so we were at the George Formby convention. George Formby, in case you don't know, was a Lancashire comedian from the 30s and 40s who sang things like "In me grandad's flannelette nightshirt."
Spot the similarity, listeners.
And I had such a good time.
Oh, I love the Blackpoolians. We had a great time.
There was a thing at the George... Because the thing about George Formby fans, they don't just turn up and talk about George Formby and watch films and all that, which they do. But they all... Because George Formby played a ukulele, they all play ukuleles. And that's what I love about it. It's the interactive nature, the red button nature of
Everyone
George
does
Formby.
a turn.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ukuleles.
Oh, man, it was a ukulele fest. Almost literally. I actually bought an old Gibson...
How much did it cost, Frank?
950 quid. Yeah, that was a bit rash, I know. But
I was disappointed, though, because they'd said, the George Formby ukulele shop is just down here. It was in a hotel, we should say, the convention, and they had an impromptu shop. So I got very excited, because I like any opportunity to be sort of consumerist. I thought, great, I'll buy, like, a nice mug tree or a souvenir sort of sweatshirt. And we walked into the room, and there was basically 12 old men with pints around some ukuleles, discussing them. That's not a shop.
No, not strictly speaking a shop, but it worked for me because I did buy a ukulele.
You did?
They did have a stall, and on the stall there was a square of material, like slightly rough Hessian material for sale. It says £1. I said, what is that? He said, well, you know when you're playing a ukulele but you're wearing a shiny shirt and it keeps slipping off your chest. He says, you just put that material against your chest and it can get a bit of purchase.
Yeah. I just Velcro. I fit myself with a bit of Velcro on the back of the uke. Straight on, just stays there.
What I've done is I've welded about 40 fish hooks into the back of my ukulele, and I just put it straight into the flesh.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Can I just say...
This is Roman Catholic ukulele played at its finest. Can you just say what?
On a very...
Don't say anything you've already said. Don't forget the Easter
Before
no-repeat
you
guarantee.
start snapping
I've
at
mentioned
me...
it twice.
I was about to say something very nice about you.
Go on then.
I was going to say, Gareth and I actually felt very proud of you. Because you stood up there, didn't you? And you did 2 numbers.
I did do 2 numbers. I think it was 7 and 41, I think it was, from the George Formby hymn book. No, I did. I got up and I had to perform, and it's a very tough
crowd,
place to perform because they watch every note. They have memorised George Formby's solos. I mean, note by note, so they're really looking out for it. But yeah, it was really
you stormed
absolutely
it.
splendid. I sat in breakfast. the next morning after, you'd gone. Oh, yeah, I don't know who'd left it on the chair. No, I sat by the window on my own, and I watched all these different types of people arriving with ukuleles. It was like being a wizard.
You thought there were different types of people there?
Well, I thought there were several different types of people, but it really made me so happy. I sang like a bird.
I like the young people. There were young people there.
Yeah, I think we'll move on.
Yeah,
So anyway, if you
Not
want
like that. They were just like celebrities, weren't they? Because there were two main young people, and people thought they were kings.
keep talking, Em. It's going to be all right.
I'm glad you're not a news reporter. Two main young people.
Yeah, and people thought they were kings. Okay, so there you are. Is it a count of the nativity? Anyway, it's gone very religious this morning. If you want to text us about anything at all, we're on 8 12 15. I say 8 12 15. Let me hear you say 8 12 15. I'm talking about 8 12 15. Take it to the bridge, 8 12 15. There's the no repeat guarantee shot through the ceiling. I think it's pulp time.
Absolute Radio.
That was Pulp, Common People.
My theme song.
Yeah, in many ways, yeah. Do you know what he once said that that Three Lions was one of the worst songs that ever made?
Did he really?
Jarvis Cocker. It's just a pity because I think Common People is an absolutely brilliant song. I'd love to come back tit for tat and say
Oh,
that
that's
was
very
rubbish.
big of you.
Yeah, exactly. I've
They were on a lot of
just got
drugs.
2 words for Jarvis Cocker. Try shampoo. Sorry, Gareth.
They were on a lot of drugs around then. They didn't.
I don't know
what
if
they
you
were
can
doing.
say. I don't know if you can say
People
that.
said they were on a lot of drugs
Have
on
they?
documentaries.
Yeah, but you
Let's
know, you
not
can't
get
believe
deeper
anything they
into-
say. They're all on drugs. Oh no, sorry, no, I'm in it. I've got into the same mess with your libelous. Just because that bloke Simon Singh won the libel case doesn't mean we can say anything we like about
Yeah.
people.
It's not free for all, love.
Crazy. I remember when he was just Simon Says, and then he got musical. Anyway, there's a bit of so yeah. We were talking. Let's just to finish off the talk of the George Formby conference. There's a thing called the thrash at the George Formby.
That's sort of a
Convention.
ukulele transmitted disease.
You're all right if you wear that bit of cloth on your shiny shirt. If you're going to go on, unsafe, you're asking for it. Oh God. So I'm not doing a G-string joke.
No, don't.
Jeff, cut the G-string joke. No, don't cut the... Oh. So, yeah, so what happens is they say, OK, it's the thrash, and everyone in the room with a ukulele, and that's like about 150 people, all get up on stage, and they all play, like, 4 shortened versions of George Formby songs. And it really... I looked around me, and I'm just surrounded by these smiling banjo players, these ukulele players, sorry. And it made me think that, in fact, we're all one unified whole, really. I know we're split into separate individuals, but we've all got that same flickering light inside us.
Ukulele.
In some ways, it can be manifested as a ukulele, but it can also be just love. So you had a tweet, didn't you?
Well, on the way
I've heard
back
some
from
names.
Blackpool, I was sitting at the train station.
I don't think you can actually get a tweet in Blackpool.
I did. I managed to get email and everything.
I
With
think
me,
it-
I was with Emily.
I think in Blackpool it manifests itself as a fax. That's as modern as it's going to go.
And who's...
I got a telegram. It was actually sent as a text by the time it reached Blackpool. It was brought by a man in a uniform.
Was it a bellboy man?
It was, yeah, a bellboy man.
I like Blackpool as well because you can have fish and chips at 11:30am without judgment.
Which is what we did.
Yeah, we did have that. Except
Oh.
I spoilt it by ordering herbal tea. Anyway.
I can't believe you ordered
I
herbal
know.
tea and Harry Ramsden.
In the chippy.
Herbal what?
Anyway, so my tweet... Ross Noble popped into my tweet box.
Ross Noble, the
pardon.
famous comedian. Yes, exactly.
You too.
Ross Noble popped into my tweet.
And I'm a massive fan of Ross Noble. And he's a friend of the show as well. He's come on the show.
He certainly is. Friend of the show.
So imagine my delight.
Hold on. Okay, I've imagined it.
Has it
Carry
been
on.
imagined?
Got it.
Is it Turkish?
To read this from Ross Noble. Hi, Emily. Hope you're well. Loving the podcast. He's loving the podcast. He listens to our show.
Is he in Australia? Is he?
Listening as I tour Oz.
Oh, lovely.
Then he had an instruction, Ross Noble did. He said, check out this clip from Terminator. And I think he meant the Terminator TV series it was from.
No, Terminator's held together by paper clips. That's how that works.
So this is this is the clip that Ross Noble sent us. I presume you all know Ross Noble, the famous comedian. He sent us this clip. Are you ready?
Don't let me get all A.E. Houseman on you.
It was a reference to A.E. Houseman.
Oh no, we need to reset the system.
In the Terminator.
Ross Noble set off the alarm, the A.E. Houseman alarm.
But it's unbelievable, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good old. Well, if when you listen to this podcast, Ross, we love you so much
We
for
really
sending
do.
that, and it made us happy. And mind that bandicoot. Something I was once driving around Australia with a girlfriend. I actually had opportunity to say at one point, mind that bandicoot, because there was one crossing the road. It's an animal. Don't look at me like that. It's an animal.
Absolute Radio.
There's adverts on the telly for Halifax now. They've retired Howard. You know Howard, the black bloke with the glasses on.
Oh,
bald
yeah.
head, yeah.
Who gives you extra.
He seems to have gone. But they do it like as if it's a radio station. And it's actually people by the real staff of Halifax. And it's unnervingly like this show when I watch it. You should try it. It's a regular advert on, I think, Sky News. Here you go. Keeping you up to date here on Absolute Radio. I don't know what we're keeping you up to date with. Anyway, guess what?
What?
I've been asked to do... asked to be a guest on Desert Island Discs.
You have not. You have not. Seriously.
Seagulls, those were.
Right.
It sounded more like poppies.
Can I just say, that is a really nice, serious show.
It is.
Yeah, and it's Kirsty Young, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh, God,
she's the presenter.
I was anticipating Roy Plum. What happened to him? Was he fired? Yes.
I'm worried about you. What are you going to play? It'll be like, the child was born Victorian. It's going to be like the Four, and all these nanas are going to switch up.
I will definitely play the Four.
Are you?
I think now nanas are sort of growing into that age.
Maybe.
You know, whereas nanas used to talk about World War II, they now talk about
Pole.
the Dave Clark Fight. You know, they're catching up slowly. No one remembers World War II anymore. If you remember World War II, this is this week's call-in. What happened? I can't remember who won. We could Google it, I suppose.
So you're looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's exciting. I mean, you know, you pick your 8 records, and then so I'll have the Fall, obviously, and I'll have I'll have Kraftwerk. People who were seminal things in my life. George Formby.
We don't want to give all the choices away, though.
No, I don't. Oh God, no, I don't want to give the choices away. But I tell you what, it's the luxury item that's the tricky thing. Cause you're You can take a book and a luxury item. Obviously, you get the Bible and the complete works of Shakespeare.
That'll be useful for Jamie Redknapp and people like that.
Yeah,
complete
exactly.
works of Shakespeare.
Or also, if you're on a desert island with a door that won't stay open.
Yeah.
Then it's good to have a couple of 2 big books. I actually, I'd be very happy to read complete works of Shakespeare and the Bible, speaking for myself, but I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. So I get to take another book.
Yeah.
My favourite ever was when Keith Waterhouse, the journalist, was on, and he said, I'd like something that really reminded me of England, something quintessentially English. Can I have a year's leather-bound copies of The Exchange and Mart? So that was a great choice. I speak as a man who once did a voiceover for an Exchange and Mart advert. All together now? Don't know where to start. Exchange and Mart. Yeah. And when I think George Bernard Shaw was one of the first people on it.
What, on the Exchange and Mart advert?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he had some plays he was trying to get rid of in exchange for Vauxhall Viva. He was trying to get down. Yeah, he needed one where the Speedo was slightly to the left, so it wasn't obscured by his enormous beard. They make them, but there's only about 4 in Ireland where he lived. So, yeah, he went to the Mart. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah.
Desert Island Discs.
His book was The Beginner's Guide to Boat Building.
Wow. That's
clever. He could have used the beard as a raft.
He's given that some thought.
Yes. I imagine he'd trail the beard off the shore and collect plankton on which he could live. That's what I'm guessing. I've been wrong before. So I thought we could ask the listeners our
yeah, that's a
beloved
good idea.
listeners to say, what should my luxury item be? You can chuck the book in as well if you like. 'Cause I haven't decided on a book yet.
And what
I'm
would
thinking
they?
of something, obviously... Well, no, I can't say that.
Do you have to have a book? Because
Laminated,
I would
anyway.
want. Oh.
Yeah.
I would want like a box set or something. I don't often reread books.
No, it's a book now. There are book. You could have like a reference book or something like that. You know.
What for? Like for
Well,
an
identifying.
encyclopedia for
Maybe
things on the
identifying
beach.
fruit.
Hang on, does the other luxury item have to be a book? Can't it just be anything?
No, you have a luxury item,
Oh,
which is
okay.
anything, and then you can have a book of your own choice.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
never listen to Desert Island?
Do your big go.
We've already had some
Yeah.
texts in on. I'm asking what my luxury item and or book should be on Desert Island Disc, which I'm recording soon.
Well, Kay said he liked. I think he's referring to that song "Morning Frank." Reminds me of the Beach Boys.
Yeah, it's got an element
nice.
of Beach Boys messing around on their own and saying, no, this is a bit ragged. Let's do some proper stuff with 9 million mixed harmonies on. But yeah,
So,
good point.
suggestions for the desert island. Kev has said, how about a loom and a copy of the Urulwuli Annual?
Well, there's two things I like about that. I love the idea of saying... and Kirsty saying, what would your luxury item be? A loom, please, Kirsty. I say a loom. And I also like the fact that you can't say, oh, Willie. So you say, ooh, yeah, ooh, Willie is like a... I've never really read much ooh, Willie. It's...
Laura's into
ooh,
it.
Willie sounds like something you could catch from paying for sex.
I don't really know
I've
what
got
it
a
is.
bit of
Is it
ooh,
like,
got a bit of ooh, Willie.
is it like
sorry.
a comic strip thing?
Yeah, it's made by the people who make the Beano and that, but it's Scottish, so it's enormous.
I'm
in
sorry I
Scotland.
don't read that.
Yes. It is
A Beano thing in Scotland.
Exactly. Well, so any Scottish listeners they'll have grown up on Oor Willie,
Okay.
almost certainly, and of course whiskey.
Someone suggested you take me as your luxury item. Frank, why not take Emily as your luxury item, as she seems luxurious? Oh, thank you.
A lot of maintenance to do, though.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I don't know if I've got the tools.
He does say, although you'd probably end up being her man Friday.
Well, exactly.
Well, yeah, there is that.
I can imagine me one day doing your nail varnish on your toes and thinking, how did this happen? How did this happen? I thought we were supposed to be a team on this desert island. Those seagulls, they're just not right. Yeah. Any other texts on this?
Jay and
theme?
Kent says book SAS Survival Guide luxury item Girls Aloud.
I know. I don't know if you could have human beings as a luxury item. And also, wouldn't they squabble?
Yeah.
Probably. Although I do like the idea of coming out of my little hide in the morning, you know, just brushing the sand to one side as I come out on my knees, and I've just got like jeans ripped very raggedly at the thigh. The way jeans seem to go when people are shipwrecked on a desert island.
Yeah, they're always perfectly ripped.
And just look, they'd still be sleeping. I don't imagine they get up much before lunchtime, the girls, allowed girls. But imagine that there'd be a little washing line with smalls on it, blowing.
And maybe their hair pieces as well, hanging on there.
Well, there'd be hair pieces on there, small. Well, I don't have that kind of eyesight. But I think that would be a lovely thing. I mean, I think they'd be great company.
Oh, no, they wouldn't. They'd be shrieking. It would be like that Boots Here Come the Girls advert. It'd be awful.
Yeah.
Oh, not got nothing to eat. What do we do on the beach? Where's Ashley? Oh, no, I don't like him anymore.
Yes.
Is that Cheryl Cole?
No, I think it's a cartoon
Cheryl
character
Cole.
from someone who used to work with Huckleberry Hound.
Cheryl Cole speaks.
Is that how she speaks?
Yes.
I presume that her throat has been hit against the side of the raft in a freak wave as we came ashore.
I got quite a lot of debris in my mouth.
Yeah. Is it flotsam or jetsam, Cheryl?
Oh, a little bit of both, I think.
Oh, God. This is going to affect her singing career. Not that much, but a little bit.
I would like to take this opportunity to read out an email we got in the week, actually, Frank, from one of our podcast listeners.
Okay, we're supposed to get to adverts now. Is it
Well,
a quick
what do you
one?
want to do?
I'll do a quick one.
It's from Chris Waned in New
I
Zealand.
might as well get into that catchphrase before I'm shipwrecked on a desert island with girls allowed. Just do a quick one before the others come.
Okay, Frank.
Oh, not you! You freak me out. Send the ginger one. It's Tuesday, isn't it? Didn't I say there should be a rota? No, now I'm doing the voice. Oh, let's have some adverts. We'll come to this later. My ears are bleeding. Is that all right?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Gareth, I've never seen you play air guitar before. That was Walk This Way.
I quite fancied you when you did that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You fancied Gareth?
Yeah.
That's going to really
Gracious.
complicate things. We've only been a desert island for 10
No,
minutes and already this has started.
I should say to Laura, it's only for 9 seconds, no offence, and then it went.
I thought I looked a bit like I was having a seizure when I did that, so that's a bit odd.
For anyone at home who's had a seizure, we didn't mean any harm by that.
No,
Get over it.
probably call someone.
Then when I say get over it, if they do get over it, then I'll have developed some sort of faith healing thing, and people will come and they'll come all the way to Golden Square just to touch the hem of my garment.
Just have you say, get over it.
Yeah, exactly. Just get over it. Oh, I'm cured. Wouldn't that be marvellous? Yeah, that was on the MC with Walk This Way. Of course, if I could walk that way, I wouldn't need the talcum powder.
We've had a text in, Frank, on 81215.
Oh, that's a bit of an occasion. Hold on a minute. That was the top coming off champagne.
That was very cheap champagne, wasn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't. That's something wrong with my thumb.
I can hear a noise, and I think it's the arrival of David Baddiel. His voice is so loud, I can hear an echo. Anyway, because he's our guest today, we should say.
Oh yeah. I think I
can hear
come
him.
up the stairs. That could be him. Yes, David Baddiel is our guest today. What about that? Remember her? Yeah. David, my dear, my old mocker.
He is your mucker. And he's my friend as well, I should say. You're the only one who doesn't know him, Gareth.
Never met him.
Yeah. I don't think he'll like you much.
No, I wouldn't
I
have
think
so.
these people with glasses,
Frank.
there's a rivalry, you know what I mean? They want to be the only people with glasses in the room. That's why the Proclaimers squabbled their whole life through.
Anyway, this text I've been trying to read, so it's from Steve at the Village Bakery, who I love. He's one of
he's a
our
legend.
regular listeners.
Didn't they do YMCA?
No. Steve says, Frank's book, this is on the desert island, Frank,
Yeah.
Frank's book should be called Tales of the Blanc. That would keep you busy for years. You know who he means.
Is this a reference to the fact that Gareth often tells fabulous tales about his one celebrity friend, Raymond Blanc?
I think it might be.
Yeah, I did, because I went to the restaurant.
Hold it.
I went to the Maison Blanc in Winchester.
Did you? I'm surprised you never mentioned it before.
You went to the Maison Blanc in Winchester.
And I've said a couple of things about it, but there's one interesting thing that happened. Is that
Oh, God.
What a day it was.
the waitress came over and she said,
Where's the music? We need the music, Frank.
I'm hooked now.
Mr. Blanc, would you like me to charge it to your account? And he said, oh no, I like to pay my bills myself straight away. Even though it was
Even
his,
his own
even though it was his
restaurant?
place. And so
She called him Mr. Blanc, not Monsieur. Not Monsieur Blanc.
And she said, okay. And she said, and she fiddled with the machine. She said, I'm having a bit of a problem with the machine. Do you mind if I go, no, I want to pay now, please. I want to pay now.
Ooh.
Yeah, so she went and sorted it out and brought him the bill, left him. And afterwards he said, sorry, can I ask you about this thing on the bill here? What is...
She must have
He
been
queried the bill.
I mean, imagine, she must have been terrified.
What is this? What is this? That's a chocolate eclair. And he goes, oh yes.
What an ending to an anecdote.
He didn't even say we. He could have said we. But no, he said yes.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I don't think he's quite got into character, Raymond. That poor girl, though. You don't want Raymond Blanc
Yeah,
querying in a Raymond Blanc.
She was nervous. She was dropping plates. It was a fiasco.
Oh. Actually, she sounds rubbish.
Well, I was going to say, that sounds a much better anecdote than Raymond Blanc querying a bill.
I know, but you got to get Le Blanc in
Got
there.
to pace myself.
Yes.
I shouldn't have blown the plate breaking.
No, that's it. You've killed two Raymond Blanc anecdotes with one stone. Sing. Oh God, I've just got a note from the producer that says sing.
Oh, what, the prison?
Ye, my love, and I shall ye adendo. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, there's a song called Sing. I'll play that, shall I?
Absolute Radio.
And stop giggling, Emily. I tell this show's much funnier during the records. But also, we ought to bring out, that's what the podcast should be, stuff said during the records. Of course, there'd be trouble. Police, libel, etc. Okay, so I was speaking of the police.
Yeah.
Did you see Heather Mills was in trouble this week?
Oh, yeah. She's not often out of it, that one, is she?
That one. You see, already we've started off on the anti-Heather. What is it with people? Why do people hate Heather Mills so much?
I can't imagine.
But what is it? Have you ever met her?
No, I haven't actually.
Well, there you go. Have you met her, Gareth?
No.
I don't think you need to meet someone to form an opinion on them.
Around the Maison Blanc.
I don't think she's one who hangs around.
Well, it depends how much money he's got.
I can't believe. I can't. I tell you, there's something. The thing is, she's disabled, and usually the disabled get the benefit of the doubt. I think,
Usually the disabled don't go around trying to flog their story to the highest bidder.
No, the disabled
whilst they're
just
still
get
in
the
hospital.
No, but you do. If someone's disabled, even if they're a nasty person, you think, well, they've got a lot to put up with, and I sympathise with that. But she gets none of that, Heather.
No.
I was talking about her on stage once, and I tried to defend her a bit. I said, we don't know her. She might be all right. And there'd been these weird rumours, can I point out completely unfounded and I'm sure untrue rumours that Paul had been knocking her about. You know? And I mentioned this, and I said, no, if that turned out to be true, we'd feel terrible. Some old scouser knocking around a one-legged woman. I mean, what could be worse than that? I said, how would you feel, mate? And this bloke just shrugged and said, best band ever. As if that would make it okay. Absolutely scandalous.
She does talk a lot, though, doesn't she? She fights her corner, and
she's fond of a statement, isn't she?
She does. She said that this court case was stopping her doing her charity work, and it would have cost thousands of lives.
So we should say she took her nanny to
That's
court.
That's it. Yeah.
I don't. What is the nanny claiming unfair dismissal?
It was an unfair dismissal, and also she'd been downgraded to just being a cleaner.
Yeah, is that a downgrade?
Well, exactly.
Not in our house.
Well, exactly.
I regard the cleaner who rules the roost in our house.
But Heather says
just the chickens make a hell of a mess.
Heather says she's doing this not just for herself, bringing this to court. Yeah. She's doing this for people everywhere who have problems with domestic staff.
She says for people who are held to ransom by domestic staff.
Because we all will suffer from it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you remember that siege I was involved in with my cleaner when she had me and my girlfriend at gunpoint until we bought more Mr. Sheen.
Yeah, we had to have a whip round, send someone round to sort it all out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all gone out of
Polish interpreter. And also I think a Polish interpreter had to turn up.
Also, can we just say, on a far more shallow level, what's happened to Heather Mills' sort of looks? I mean, her hair, Frank.
I used to quite fancy Heather Mills.
She looks like Julius Caesar in a high street suit. It's awful.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's odd. Is that almost always I think women look better with short hair.
Not in this case.
No, but she's turned into sort of a threatening PE teacher type figure. And I'm trying to be pro Heather. The papers. This was in one of the papers. I don't know which one because it's a printout. But it's just the words I have to get in. It said, some of her, speaking of Heather, some of her evidence was like a childish account of a playground spat. Wait for it. But ex-porn star Heather looks stern and put in a ruthless performance. So can we get ex-porn star in with stern, and I think ruthless. Let's put ruthless in as well. Poor Heather. She must, there's got to be... They even said Heather broke down in tears, pausing to drink some water. Obviously, they don't think they're real... they think she's like Tiny Tears. You had to fill up a small tank to get liquid. She couldn't possibly really cry. I think we should get her on as a guest. Wouldn't it be great to find out she was lovely?
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Would we?
She's not going to be nice.
Well, I just think I haven't met her. You've got to give people the benefit of the doubt.
No, I don't agree with that, Frank. As someone has just texted in, I haven't met Hitler either, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't very nice. Thank you, Scott, for backing up my point. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, but you see, the natural comparison between this woman and Hitler also suggests a certain extreme situation.
Hitler and Paul McCartney had a very turbulent relationship.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. Hold on. No, I can't think of anything to say to that. I think sometimes you just have to let them go. It's no good trying to dwell, and I don't want to do. It's unlike bread. I find that half a joke is not better than none.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Designed for Life, Manic Street Preachers, which I think sums up your family tree, doesn't it, Gareth?
My granddad did get arrested in London on the street for street preaching at one point.
Yeah.
Oh, anyone got a Raymond Blanc anecdote?
No, I think that's a great... How many of us can say that? I mean, my dad was arrested, but not for street preaching. He just hit people. My
dad was arrested, but let's not go into that.
I'd love to go into that. It sounds great. This chocolate bunny is absolutely fabulous chocolate. I've gone with the ears first.
Yeah, I know. You've eaten it in a really controlled way. You've nibbled at it.
Well, you started at the rear of the rabbit.
I did.
And I was put off by the presence of the Scot. You see? I didn't fancy the Scot much. And,
Oh no, quick, someone do something!
Oh, God, I should have read this warning on the wrapper. It says bell and ribbon may represent a risk of choking. I like the fact that it's going to represent a risk of choking. Actually, it isn't one, but it's symbolically, it's prepared to represent one.
Also, I don't like the incident that must have prompted that warning. It makes me sad.
Yes. I think at least it's not, if you are going to choke to death, it is nice to have an element of jingle bells all the way as you disappear.
At least you would have been having chocolate and having a nice time when you went.
And every time you ring a bell, an angel gets his wings. So, that's another one.
We've had a text in, Frank, during the week. One of our
just from the
podcast
end,
listeners.
like, gets his wings box set. Oh, I'm sorry about that. So if any angels listen, I'm sorry that's turned up there. But there's the first album out, which I think is called Wildlife. What's it called? That's quite good.
Do you want to hear this text?
Yes!
It's from Chris Wayne in New Zealand. He says near Australia brackets.
Does anyone listen to this show in England? I think
No.
We're an international...
We have Detroit, we have Russia.
We got pig iron! We got all pig iron!
Chris says...
Pig iron curtain! People behind the pig iron curtain! We've got that as well. Carry on.
Chris says, dear
We
Frank...
got pig Iran! We got all pig Iran! This is my
Frank!
international... sorry. Carry on.
I don't trust you not to interrupt with one of your pig iron rants.
I won't do it again.
Okay. You're so going to do it.
No, I'm not going to do it.
This is
Honestly, I've gone strictly aluminium for this.
Okay, this is from Chris. He says, dear Frank, a little late I know, but I have another famous last words entry for you, because we were talking about this, weren't we?
I love famous last words.
And he says, one of my favourites is from the British author Somerset Maugham, who said just before he died, it's too late for fruit, too early for flowers.
That is good.
Nice.
Isn't that lovely?
And
Too hot for lamb.
Yeah, I wish
Oh,
you'd
you
said it's too
ruined
hot for lamb. Many of you will know that my dad used to call Somerset Maugham Somerset Maffin, so that's got all sorts of... it set all sorts of bells ringing. David Baddiel is in after this track.
I know, I'm really excited. I went and embraced him and gave him a big hug.
Did you?
Yeah.
Both.
You two didn't bother, I noticed.
No, well, I don't like to... when they arrive in the studio, I like it as if I've never seen them before, and it's exciting.
What music have we got for David?
Well, I thought we'd herald his appearance by playing the new Fall single, because he loves... Oh, man, he loves them. This is Berry, parts 1 and 4.
Absolute
Radio.
That's Berry by The Fall, which is the new single. Purchase it, download it, just do it. David Baddiel has arrived in the studio.
Hello, Frank. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank
You know, when I arrived, they said to me, you'll be on after the fall. I said, does he always get the guest on after the fall? He said, yeah. I said, is there any kind of listener drop-off normally at that point? But, yeah, no, great. I couldn't put the headphones on. I don't know if you noticed. I put them on, I had to take them off again.
Dave once got in my car and said, what's that horrible noise? Is it The Fall?
yeah, I think it was the car backfiring. In fact, it turned out to be the whole...
You've had to listen to it quite a lot over the years then.
Well, actually not that much, because Frank got into the fall, not when we first met, quite like 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, less than that even.
Yeah.
I'm a late developer on the fall.
You came out, in fact, to me. I think we were in Portugal at the time.
We were walking on a moonlit beach.
Yeah. It was very like
How
someone,
romantic.
It was very like someone actually coming out, except it was about liking Marky Smith, which is rare, I think, when people come out in the normal way, but that comes up.
Exactly. They rarely combine.
Yeah.
I'm gay and I like Marky Smith. Yeah. No, but I remember you said to me, if I was you, I wouldn't tell anyone.
Bad
Did you
advice
actually
again.
say that?
I did say bad advice again for most people coming out. It's got 1950s advice. It was something else.
It's like the agony aunt on This Morning would advise you to do that.
Exactly. Well, hey, I'm sure the Fall are great. I can't hear it myself. What's great about them, and so I advised against Frank making
Oh, they're
it public.
growing on me. Spoiled Victorian child. Nothing wrong with that.
Growing on you. You've been on this show how long? God.
Over a year. Yeah. Once a week over a year.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like being married. Yeah, I remember you said the thing is they're the sort of band that if people are trying to be cool,
Yes.
they say they like the Fall, so you
Yeah.
best keep your mouth shut.
Well, that is a very unlikely thing for you to try and do, to try and be cool. You're not a man, I think, who ever tries to second-guess the hip agenda.
No,
Possibly the broken hip agenda.
Yes, exactly.
And so I thought, oh, well, I'm obviously wrong. I'm wrong about so many things. And I was wrong because I thought, well, if Frank likes it, then he must genuinely like it. Because I've never known you to like something except utterly genuinely. But I still can't see it. Sounds like a terrible racket. I'm sorry.
Well, we're all different.
I love that. Such an old granddad thing. Terrible racket.
Yeah.
So anyway, Dave, you've written a film.
I have. I've written and co-produced, I believe is the word, a film called The Infidel, which comes out this Friday in cinemas.
I've been invited to the premiere on Thursday.
So is Frank Skinner, I think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he's RSVP.
I have RSVP.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, okay.
I was a bit sniffy about that because I thought, surely I don't have to RSVP. I mean, I've known this man for years.
I know. It was ridiculous. You actually said to me, someone will sort that out.
Yeah.
But no, you just...
I actually had to reply and everything. Well,
Yeah.
obviously my PA did, but even so.
I know, you were
Very
upset about that.
inconvenient. I had to phone her and tell her to do it. I had other things to do.
No, fair enough. But thank you all for coming. I'm sorry the other people... Gavin, you haven't been invited,
no,
have you?
Gareth.
You're not Gavin.
Maybe you sent my invitation to
Gavin.
Gavin.
In the midst of an apology for not inviting him, you also got his name wrong.
I'm so sorry, Gavin.
David, that's a very you thing to do, which is why I love it so much.
It is, yeah. I'm a nice chap, but I forget people's names. Gareth. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry you haven't been apologised. I'm sorry I got your name wrong. What else could I apologise for? I don't know.
I'm not
You look a
saying-
bit like me. I don't know. Is there a sort of
Yeah, in your
visual
dreams.
podcast?
I think
My
exactly.
dreams.
I think he does. That's how you see yourself as a young, trendy man.
Where is the young trendy man you speak of? Where is that person?
When you said you look a bit like me, I thought
Not in the
Bluto,
mirror.
the villain from Popeye, had come in when you were talking to him.
I think we've got a slightly odd idea of how attractive Gareth... No, I don't want to insult you again. But how attractive
You
Gareth
just
is.
have.
Well, at least he got the name right this time, in the midst
Yeah.
of this insult.
When he was telling him he wasn't attractive, he got the name right.
Yeah, no, anyway, Gareth, I'm sorry everyone else in this room who hasn't been invited. But come anyway, I'll go and watch it in the cinemas. That'd be better for me.
What about the listeners? Have you invited any of them?
Some of them, I don't know. Might
Depends
have-
who's listening, really.
It's at Hammersmith Apollo, which
Well, they're all
most
going to
people-
turn up now. Don't tell them.
Well, there'll be loads. I
There's
imagine there'll be
seats.
loads of empty seats, won't there, Dave?
Oh, no, there won't.
Harsh and cruel, but in fact we've sold out the public ticket thing because you could buy tickets for it because it's for charity, and that's now sold out. So it's just the guests who are theoretically celebrities, but that extends quite far these days. That word.
Well, when you consider I've been invited.
Well, there you go.
Do you remember, Dave, when we went to see... was it Ed Wood, that Johnny Depp film? And there was an
I was
area.
there.
There was an area.
Really?
Yeah, well, they kept an area that they said... We arrived and a bloke said, oh, you can't sit there, that area's reserved for celebrities. And we thought, oh...
Yeah, that's a
what
shame.
do we say? Do
Yeah.
you say?
Well, I am one. That's such an
I
awful
think
thing.
you did say that.
Yes, I think I did.
Did you?
I think I did because either that or
David.
wandering around in Leicester Square for 2 hours. Someone has to, bite that
Dave
bullet.
carries clippings for these situations.
Yeah, just in case.
Do you know who I am? Well, look, here's my show reel. But anyway, I wish we had, because you remember there was one other celebrity.
Yes,
Who was it?
It was Wolf from Gladiator. I remember it very clearly. And he was straight in there, by the way. There was no just for celebrities, so with Wolf.
No, and he was with a fabulous babe in a gold miniskirt. Me and Dave sat there like two extras from Last of the Summer Wine.
And the other thing was, at that, it was, you know what? No other celebrities turned up in that row.
No.
It was the four of us for that entire film.
I don't think any other celebrities turned up at all.
Yeah. It
No
was-
other
yeah.
gladiators.
No other
No,
gladiators.
not even. not even my one of my best friends off of Gladiators, that dear Hunter.
Oh, God!
As Elvis Presley once said, it's been a long time.
Absolute
Radio.
Blimey. That was American Idiot, Green Day. And I'm with American Idiot.
No, I knew you were going to
go for it in New York.
Yeah, I was
It kind of works. You're not an idiot, I know.
You know what? There was a short pause where I thought, is Frank... yes, he is. He's going to say it.
Throw it all in, that's what I say.
that's right.
Blanket bombing.
Yeah.
So, The Infidel we were talking about, which is David Baddiel's new film, which comes out on Friday.
It does.
Which
it
we've
comes out-
both seen, and it's fantastic.
We have
thank
seen.
you very much.
What a relief that was, though.
I know.
Because
It's that awful moment.
it's difficult. What if you'd written something crap?
Well, I have in my time, as you know.
No, but
I could almost feel it was quite a full room, wasn't it? It was like 300
Yeah.
people. But I think I could sense Frank's trepidation more than anyone else. He's already thinking, oh God, what am I going to say if this is rubbish?
Well, I'd seen the trailer, and so I knew there was at least 3 laughs in it, because there's 3 laughs in the trailer. But I didn't know where they were going to come. They might have all come right at the end. And then I won't say what this is, but right at the beginning of the film, there's a massive, one of those really massive laughs.
I know
and
what
then
you
I thought, I can relax now. So
Yeah.
thank goodness for that.
No, that
And
is
you've got
good.
such a good cast as well.
Yes, Omid Jalili, who I think is great in it, really proving himself to be a brilliant comic actor as well as a great stand-up. And then we've got this guy, Richard Schiff, who's from The West Wing, who might not be that well known in
Toby
this
from
country.
The West Wing.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much,
Toby.
Gavin.
Yeah, brilliant.
Gareth. I went for Gavin, I know it's Gareth.
When you
Right,
say he's from the West Wing, do you mean he lives in Emily's house?
He does. Yeah.
I've
No,
never
he's...
seen the West Wing.
Oh, haven't you?
No.
It's I didn't, to be honest, I hadn't watched it that much before we cast him, and then I had to watch a lot of it very quickly to pretend that I had. But it's
Wikipedia the West Wing.
yeah, basically, it's a very famous US TV series about life in the White House, and he played head of communications Toby Ziegler.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
In that, and he's actually he's a bald, bearding man who, the more I look at him in the film, the more I think I've based this bloke on my dad without realising it. Sort of like 20 years ago, my dad, who, by the way, has also been arrested. I heard you talking about that earlier.
Oh, has he?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
was Colin Baddiel
What,
arrested?
recently?
No, not recently. Although, you know, he might have been. And
I
just don't know about it.
love a Colin Baddiel anecdote.
Well, it's very simple. My dad, who you will know, who is a sort of a very nice but slightly trampy, slightly sweary man, was
Slightly
arrested.
eccentric.
He was arrested for apparently getting very drunk and falling over in front of a policeman and then throwing up on his boots. And I think the charge, therefore, is drunk and disorderly. That, I believe, is what
That's
it was.
a nice thing for a dad to be arrested
Yeah,
for.
and he spent a night in the cells in Swansea. He's from Swansea. I mean, they didn't take him to Swansea from London. Thinking, we don't want this bloke anywhere near us.
And he did, to be fair, he did smell of sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he smells of sick. What do you think, Swansea? Yes. You know the routine.
Yeah, he has been arrested. It's marvellous. But so we've all got arrested dads, is that true? In this room, that's a strange thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Mine isn't really arrested. I just made it up for comic effect.
Oh, okay, all right. Sorry about that. I'm so
arrested.
gullible.
And it was,
No, not really.
it was my grandfather as well, but
Oh, was it? That's because you're so young.
you don't know my name.
You're so young and beautiful. I do know your name, Gareth.
remember
Gary.
details like that.
So look, can you? Because we've seen the film, and I don't know if that thing is because we know about it. We presume everyone else does. So what's it about?
It's about a Muslim man who discovers, quite, in his 40s, when he's got a family around him and a settled life, that he, in fact, was adopted at birth and is actually Jewish. And that's kind of the absolute kernel of the film. There are lots of other bits and pieces going on in it. It's also his son is about to get married to the stepdaughter of a fundamentalist cleric, and bits and pieces of other stuff. But that's really the centre of it. And and it's kind of a lot of people have talked about it being controversial, and I suppose it is controversial. Though I don't think you've ever thought it's that controversial. But to do comedy about religion and stuff, but actually when you see it, I would say it's a kind of warm, feel-good, funny film that does go to edgy areas, but it's not setting out to offend in the way that some films might.
Yeah, I like comedy about religion myself, but I like a good Jewish joke.
Yeah.
And there's some proper Jewish jokes in it, which I won't repeat, obviously. But yeah,
Can I say something about that, actually, which is that a few people have said to me whilst I've been doing interviews, who said, oh, you were this guy on the Mary White's Experience, and then you were this football guy, and then so now you're kind of sort of seen to some extent as like Jewishness is one of your things. And I said, yeah, I don't even really think of myself in a way as that Jewish, but I think the person who's responsible for that is Frank Skinner, to some extent, because
You
I
did
would say,
sing Have a Nagila when you were walking up the stairs.
Well, Frank, I mean...
No, I said have a tequila.
Well, one of the...
You had one already.
Can I say this? It's slightly... But let me explain it. When I started living with you, I don't know if you know, listeners, we used to live together, me and Frank, just before he came out. And because Frank, I think, is interested in my Jewishness, and just by living together, he started to pick up bits of Yiddish. Right? And Frank is a very non-Jewish man in ways, but he started using bits of Yiddish. And there is a Yiddish word for a non-Jew, which is yok. It's a slightly derogatory word, to be honest, but there you go, which is yok. And he started to do so many jokes involving Yiddish. He said, can I do a whole act like this? I could call myself Yocky Mason, right? Which is a fantastic joke, I have to say. There's so much in it.
Yeah, and so I did Jewish jokes, but I did jokes about knowing Jews rather than being one.
Yeah,
was the idea.
no, that would be foolish.
What do you think's the best Jewish joke? My favourite Jewish joke ever was one on the two Ronnies when there'd been a nuclear fallout and there's very few people left on the planet. And he said there's hardly any religions. In fact, the Jews are having to join with the Mormons and the headquarters is going to be in Salt Beef City.
I like this one. I heard it the other day. There's that show Ghost Stories. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Andy Nyman's show. He's Jewish. Not that they all are. Don't stop thinking they all are in showbiz, because Frank isn't. Emily Prackley is an honorary Jew.
Yeah.
But I
What
like
about
this joke.
Gavin?
Gavin, looking at him now, I can't tell. But this is the joke. An Englishman, a Frenchman, and a Jew are sitting on a bench, and the Englishman says, I'm so tired and thirsty, I must have beer. And the Frenchman says, I am so tired and thirsty, I must have wine. And the Jew says, I'm so tired and thirsty, I must have diabetes. That's good, isn't it?
You see, if you know Jews, you know exactly what that's about.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
The premiere is on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I've got my invite. And it's at Hammersmith Apollo, which is an unusual place. It's not even a cinema, is it?
Well, it used to be a cinema. It used to be Hammersmith Odeon, which obviously is a cinema, even though we think of it as a rock venue. And it actually has the biggest screen still in Britain, and a Wurlitzer. Someone is going to be playing the Wurlitzer.
The mighty Wurlitzer.
The mighty
How
Wurlitzer.
marvellous.
And I suggested it, actually, because we're a low-budget British film. We can't afford a sort of Empire, Leicester Square thing, so hire those cinemas costs a fortune. And so people were saying Curzon, Mayfair, and all that stuff, and I thought that doesn't feel quite right. So because I've played Hammersmith Odeon and Omid's played it, and it's basically to some extent, you know, not the home of comedy. But
I've played it. Can I
you've
say
played
I've
it?
played
Of course, you've played it, but you're not involved in the film.
Okay, Gavin and I haven't played it. We're the only ones.
Yeah. So I suggested Hammersmith, and then we went for it. And what we've decided to do, partly because it's a comedy venue, and partly because Hammersmith want to sell some drinks, so there needs to be an interval, is we're going to have like half an hour, 40 minutes of comedy and music before the film. I'm going to be hosting it. Omid's going to be doing 10 minutes or so. And we ran this competition. I don't know if you know, but we ran a competition called Which Religion is Funniest, based on the film, in which comics, mainly unknown comics, came on a Facebook site and told religious jokes. And some of it was really funny. And I think the two best are going to be doing a couple of minutes each, their funniest religious jokes as well. And Ian Brody's going to be playing.
Oh, brilliant.
And actually, one of the things about Ian Brody playing, right, is he's probably going to be doing Pure. I don't know what he's going to be doing, but obviously a few people started to say, hang on, you're going to be there, Frank's going to be there, what about doing 3 lines? I said, no, can't do 3 lines because nothing can follow. Like, Omid would be coming on afterwards, and Omid's great, but nothing can follow 3 lines. The film can't follow 3 lines.
I suppose if we did 3 lines of Judah, that would be all right.
Yeah, I don't know it, though.
We'd have,
you hum
to,
it.
we'd have to have a bit of a tinkle with a lyric.
Yeah.
I think. Have a bit of Hebrew in it. I'm up for it.
Yeah. But it is happening. I think there may be still tickets available, and it's Comic Relief and this charity I'm involved with called Calm will be getting the profits. So, profits, that's another religious reference.
Oh, it's gone religious crazy.
Yeah. So do come along. It should be a great night. I'll tell you something else which you I think will be interested in is when I watch the film at screenings, one of the things I think is it's a comedy film. I want, you know, people get lost, but I feel there should be some kind of warm-up. Because normally, if you were, you know, a big act like a film is, you'd have a warm-up first, but you don't get that with a film. So, for the first time at Hammersmith, we're going to have a proper warm-up for a comedy film, so it should storm it.
Well, see, when I used to go to the cinema as a youth, there used to be 2 films on. So there was a warm-up. There was like the B film and then the main movie, but goodness me, those days are gone.
I remember Wurlitzers back then as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, people used to arrive on them. Or was that? I think that was Davros. Davros used to live local.
Yeah.
And wouldn't Doctor Who have been a better programme if Davros had had a mighty Wurlitzer instead of just that small thing here?
I'm still slightly frightened of Davros. I don't like to talk about him. Whenever I see him, I still feel slightly ill at ease.
Do you see him often?
Yeah, he comes around all the time.
I think he's Jewish, if I remember.
Davros.
Bobby Davros.
Bobby Davros. Marvellous.
Well, look, anyway, the film comes out on Friday,
Yeah.
so for people who haven't got tickets for the premiere, you can go out and see it then.
Yes.
Or just
And,
become friends with David Baddiel like I did. Easy.
That's
Yeah.
the other option, yeah.
Yeah,
You have
yes.
to-
It's not that easy.
I put on a terrible wall to Gareth. I'm sorry. That's what you should embrace.
But you've really taken to his name now. I'm
I'm saying it over and over again to prove something. That's what's going on.
exactly. Well, it is. I can personally state with it. Although obviously I have links with this man. This, by the way, me and Dave are doing a load of radio shows and podcasts for Absolute for the coming World Cup. In
We
case
are.
you hadn't heard.
Yeah.
And we did a bit of a thing. We had a bit of a warm up thing the other day, and it was. Oh man, it's great to be back.
It is. Yeah.
So thanks a lot, Dave.
Hang on a
And-
sec. You were about to say. You're about to say. I can say without reservation. Then you got started talking
sorry.
about Absolute. You didn't say it.
Sorry, I just remembered I had a reservation. So. This script was written for coaches. No, it's a very, very funny film, and I would recommend you to see it. And if you don't think it's funny, I'll give every one of you your money back who don't like it.
Well, what will Coots say about that?
That's a statement from David Baddiel.
Do you be go.
Gareth, are you all right
yes,
now?
yeah, I'm
I'm
fine.
glad I've got the name right.
Yeah.
Dave is like that, really, believe me. I was so happy he got mine right, so don't feel bad about it.
This week I have been on holiday.
Is this? Do we have to put these words in the right order? You've been on holiday. Well, it's
yes.
all right for some.
Oh, where'd you go, Mauritius?
Well, we went to Kent
Oh.
because
That's in London. You just turn right at the Tesco Metro. Why would you go there on holiday?
It's not actually in London. I think
Sort
you'll
of
find.
is, isn't it?
Isn't
Near.
it that the orchard of Great Britain, the fruit basket of Britain,
the Garden of Britain.
the garden? I knew it was something like that.
Garden of Britain and Garden of England. And well, it's because Laura's mum and dad have come over, and they live in Spain.
I
so
thought it was called the
they've come.
Garden of England because it's covered in dog excrement. Carry on.
Yeah, we went. So they've come over. So
it's
we
a
went.
family holiday.
Yeah, it's a family holiday. So it was nice, but there's not much to do. It rained a lot. So basically, our big day
Well, it
out.
will do if you're in Kent.
Our big day out was we went to the Tunbridge Wells shopping centre,
Ah.
the Victoria Centre, I think it's called.
I don't feel any obligation to plug it.
Did they give you any freebies? No.
No, but it was weird because remember last week in Blackpool, your hotel room, we talked about that.
Yes.
In the toilet, you said there was.
There was a wicker armchair. You say I said. You saw it. I took you in the toilet
Yeah.
and showed it to you. Don't be bashful.
We had quite a long chat.
There was, yes. Yeah. One could sit. I imagine that old people would sit, and the bloke would have a ball of wool while the old lady held her arms stretched out with one. She sat on the toilet, and he sat on the wicker chair. That's where I thought it would go.
Well, we went to in this shopping centre. There was a family toilet. We were taking Ethan to get him changed.
How many toilets? That's disgusting.
Yeah, well, we wondered what we were
It's
looking
like a trough.
We were looking for somewhere to change Ethan, so we found this one that it sort of had a picture of a grown-up and a child. So we thought, oh, we'll go in there. And in there were two toilets
In one cubicle.
side by side, just in a big room.
That is repulsive.
Well, I mean, to be fair, though, I think you'll find that's the conjoined twins toilet. There's only 4 in England. And so you can imagine that they have to really, if they start to get desperate, they're out there to jump into a car.
Also, how did you know just from that graphic?
Of course,
the big
the same one has
person?
to drive all the time. Unless they get an American car over just for a change. Sorry, carry on.
And yeah.
Did
so
you use
did
it?
them, yeah.
Oh
We
my
both.
god!
Well, you've got to, when in Rome. We both went.
No, the thing is, you weren't in Rome. You're in
When in Rome,
Maidstone.
don't use the latrines.
We both went.
So who went? You and your
Me
wife?
and Laura, yeah.
What, your
You
father-in-law?
You sat side by side.
You and your father-in-law?
That's absolutely. But that would have been a picture to match the posh Beck's wedding picture of them on white ornamental thrones.
It was really odd. We properly giggled because you don't usually do that.
Did you?
No, you don't. You don't ever do it, actually, is the word I would have used.
Did you hold hands?
No.
Oh, that's not hygienic. Oh, God.
Oh,
I was-
lovely. Well, I think there's
You
something
just
quite
use me.
romantic about it. That's what marriage is about, isn't it? Being relaxed around each
I
other.
hope not.
Terrible cocktail. Oh.
Absolute
Radio.
Gareth had a go at me while that song was playing.
I did not have a go
He
at
did.
you.
I didn't hear him
Don't.
because my headphones were on. Frank, can I just say my bit and then he can say his? No, just quickly. And so he went, "Oh, Em's doing a Gareth." So he insulted himself whilst insulting me. It all backfired.
At least you got the name right. Look on the bright side. Oh, God. Speaking of things going a bit... Did you do any April Fools?
No, because I've got a mortgage.
Oh, does that stop you? Well, that's why I did one, because I don't have a mortgage, obviously. What is a mortgage?
Oh, Frank, that's going to alienate you from the people.
Oh, God.
Go on, what was the April Fool's that you did?
People like E.T., why didn't he alienate people?
What was the April Fool's
He
that
was
you
Protestant, I think. You can tell. Yeah, so the April... I think the secret I learnt this is that don't mix April Fool's pranks with PMT.
Oh, dear.
It's a very, very dangerous cocktail, right? And what happened was, when I got up on whatever morning it was it Thursday morning, April Fool's Day?
Yeah.
But anyway, I got up. I told my girlfriend that I'd been offered a series on Channel 4 with Gok Kwan.
That is quite a good April Fool.
In which, I suppose, a lot of you listening tried the same thing on your girlfriends. And I said it was called Would You Wear That?
Did you really say this?
Honestly, yeah. And I said it was a programme in which I went out into the streets of Britain with Gok Kwan and I wore a series of elaborate avant-garde outfits. And I said I'd been offered 40 episodes. 40? I thought that'll swing it, surely. Well, when I told her at first I'd been offered an episode with Gok Kwan, she said, "Oh, he's quite, he's quite in at the moment, Gok Kwan." I thought, "Oh God, this isn't going at all." Well, then she went into the other room, and of course, with the PMT, she then came out saying, "God, I can't believe that! It's going to be so humiliating." He completely flipped. And she got so angry and aggressive about the fact that I was... Because I was saying, I think it's a really good... I'm going to say yes, I better tell you. And my manager's all for it.
I love the idea of you in like some Harlequins outfit.
Exactly, yeah, in Oldham. In a shopping centre in Oldham. And him saying, "Oh, go down there, Frank." And I say, "Hold on, you're standing on my pantaloons." So anyway, she got so angry about the fact that I was doing Would You Wear That with Gok Kwan.
You think it's a real programme now? You're talking about...
I was frightened to tell her it was a joke.
No.
So I left her. We left.
Did you ring Channel 4 and say you're going to have to commission it?
Well, she actually mentioned to someone at Channel 4 that I was doing it, and they said, "Really?
No.
I hadn't heard about that." Oh. She phoned her mother and said, "I think." She said, "I think I might have to split up with Frank. He's going to absolutely humiliate us." I'm like, I mean,
I think I've heard about it. I think there's a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
There's a lot of buzz about that.
So I couldn't tell her, because we left home together, we walked into work together, and she suddenly said, "I think I've left the iron on," and went in the opposite direction. Oh. And so I didn't get a chance to explain. So
because of Would You Wear That?
I know, yeah. So that was my attempt at an April Fool.
40 episodes, Frank. What were you thinking?
She's very strict. See, when I got back from Blackpool, I had a ukulele badge on. They gave me a badge. Right. It was a ukulele leaning on a lamppost, thus expressing
that's attractive, yeah.
And she said to me, "Badges, we're going to have to talk about that." As soon as I got in. So you see, I'm living under a reign of terror.
Badgers? No badges.
Yeah, I think she said, "Oh yeah, there were two badgers in the living room." Both in stockings and suspenders. That explains what she says.
It was like Wind in the Willows nights. The sexy Wind in the Willows.
Exactly. Wind in the Willows uncovered. Oh dear. Well, I think that's
you won't be doing April Fool's tricks again.
Oh, by the way, we had lots of people who suggested names for the midweek podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We're going for it's not the weekend podcast, is what it's called.
Yeah.
And who sent that in?
Was that Jerry? I think it was Jerry.
Jerry. Ah, good day to you.
Absolute Radio.